Thanks.
All right, we are live. Jason Sloan here with Furtado Law Solutions, and today we got my co-host Jose Ornelas. He's in Mexico
Hello.
City. CDMX for the what they refer to if you're down in Mexico. And Bill Combs with No Time for Social. Where are you at right now, Bill?
I am in Round Rock, Texas, Austin area.
Okay.
Yep. Home of Tesla now.
Home of Tesla?
Yeah, Tesla moved here. They
Okay.
relocated from California to Austin, along with like hundreds of other companies. It's out of control here.
Yeah. Nice. So the last time I was in Austin was for the Job Nimbus had a convention, small little convention thing there at the college. Is the music scene back rocking and rolling, or?
It's coming back. Music, just events in general, comedy, the whole kit and caboodle. So it's finally starting to come back, which is good. My wife and I try to get out a couple times a year, but I'm actually happy being up in Round Rock because it keeps me out of the real insanity of Austin.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right. Well, give us your background, business, and personal, senor.
Sure. Well, I've been supporting the roofing industry since 1995. I actually moved to Austin in '95 to start a company that was well known for a really long time in the industry. A little bit less prevalent now, called Hail Watch. It's actually a division of Anything Weather. So I helped found Anything Weather back in 1995. Met my business partner, Greg Potter, at KU. You can see the banner over my shoulder here. So we were attending KU, and I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit in me, just growing up as a kid, selling, whether it's candy in sixth grade or whatever. And I actually started a small weather business when I was at KU, and the two of us hooked up and had a really cool idea to put, this will date me, to put weather information over alphanumeric pagers. So we were the first company to develop that. It was called Weather Page, and a couple of years after we developed it, AccuWeather purchased it, and we kept the hail side of things going and the weather side of things going. And Greg actually moved out to California to permanently, and I stayed here in Austin. I actually got we separated a little bit for a few years and then reconnected back up. And probably around the 2007 time frame is really when Hail Watch really blew up. We were the first company to put the hail swath report in Google Maps. So I remember doing that for a storm out in Arlington, Virginia, and we were reselling weather maps from another company that really had a lock on the industry for about 10 years. So we decided, you know what, we're going to do our own maps. We're going to build our own company, and we did it. So from 2007 to 2011, I helped build Hail Watch up to a Inc. 5000 company, Austin's Fastest 50. Did really well. We ended up probably peaking at about 18 employees, and I ended up separating from that in late 2011. And then Rich Spanton from AccuLynx recruited me to start another organization in 2012 called the United Association of Storm Restoration Contractors. So the UASRC, I helped build that and run that for about 2 or 3 years. But really the inkling in me, the gut in me was like, you got to be doing something else entrepreneurial, right? It was a nonprofit. I love the nonprofit, but I had this like drive to just move on to something else. And when I left Hail Watch, of course, everyone was like, where the hell's Bill going? And they also knew that I did really well with Facebook and Facebook ads. Even in 2008-9, when we were running Hail Watch, I mean, I was blasting $50,000 a year in Facebook ads out to get people to buy hail data, hail swath reports. I mean, it was a really solid process we had in place. So I just looked at the landscape and said, you know what? The social stuff's not going away. Consumers are moving there. Let's start an agency that provides Facebook advertising content to the roofing community. And that's really what I started back in 2014. So long and short of it is, here I am. We support probably 60 to 70% of our clients are roofing related, and we've got others. Like I have a dentist. I've worked with lawyers before, and all kinds of different other types of industries. But really stuck to the core of like I know the industry. I'm well connected in the industry. Love the industry and love supporting it. So that's how I got to where I'm at today, and it's been a great journey, and really love supporting the industry.
Okay, Bill.
You answered the next question about how long you've been in the business.
It seems like forever, right? I mean, 1995 when we started Hail Watch, we were. I mean, it's amazing the way technology has come along, right? We were faxing hail reports. First off, we were having to gather those reports by the Storm Prediction Center, local news stations, and in some cases just calling people to try to find out if they got hail. And we would put that into like an Excel spreadsheet, and we would fax that report out to whoever was a client. And we were charging like $50 a month to get the hail, we called it the hail fax report, I think, or something like that. So we would fax those reports every morning, and then, you know, just go about our day of continuing to try to build up hail data. And it blows my mind like where we're at today with technology compared to, and it seems like the 90s, right? But it's like forever ago.
Yeah, technology is moving very fast, but then you also, it seems like some of it is just not where it should be, like as far as, you know, what you're paying for and what you're getting, you know. And it's a lot of it's so we can do more work and get stuff done faster, but I see a lot of people and they don't have any they have less time now than they used to, you know.
Yeah, it's a blessing, and it's also a curse because you almost are forced to do more with less. And if you don't know enough about the less, meaning the actual functionality of the technologies, and that passes you up, you really can put yourself at a disadvantage, right? So if you're not able to, I hate the word multitask, but if you're not able to like multi-technology, right, with your phone and all these new gadgets coming out for different things, the companies that come out that are new are going to sort of look at things a different way and be able to sort of take over whatever that segment of business is. And I've actually watched that evolve over the years with all kinds of different things. So back in the 2000s, it was, I don't need a website, I've got Yellow Pages. And then I would have roofers that told me they have Yellow Pages call me and go, you know what, this website thing might be something I need to look into because I'm getting less calls and somebody's doing the work. And I was like, yep, let's Google search companies in your area. And he's like, well, I don't know that company. I don't know that company. Well, your consumers that you're trying to reach, they don't know if that company is local or not, but they're able to find them on Google. So they're able to immediately connect with that company. And now all of a sudden you're losing out because they're not opening the Yellow Pages. And the evolution of that over time, if you're not sort of 2 steps ahead of it, you can get caught up and maybe lose traction. So I do think it's important to be thinking about how technology can influence your business, but also stay 2 steps ahead of it. I've actually thought of starting a business that helps people with all that, like just wrap their head around it, right? Just as a consultant, because I'm on top of it. I mean, even at 52, it's pretty. I mean, I don't know how to buy and sell an NFT right now, but I can tell you that I've got crypto, so I've dabbled in that, and I know enough about how things work and how automations work that I can usually walk the walk, even with somebody, you know, maybe 20 years my younger.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was thinking of more like it used to be like when the roofing sales, the guys would know how to do repairs and everything else. Now it's like they sign a contract, they don't teach them how to do anything else. And on our end, it's like we give them, hey, you guys we need these pictures and everything else, and they're like, well, how do you get those pictures? And you're just
And how do you upload them?
it's like it's not magic, but there is company cam. It makes it a lot easier, you know. I
Yeah,
can help you.
exactly.
And you know, company cam actually just came out with something that I told them to do a long time ago. It's funny, a lot of these technology companies, I've told them to do something, and I'm like, you need to put this on your short list. And sometimes it takes a long time, and other times it's faster. But now they actually have a checklist for their pictures and stuff. So which is huge. So, and we're gonna have them on again soon. But yeah, I mean that's more what I was talking about. Like, technology is great, but the thing is sometimes the people aren't trained with everything else. It's just like, oh, use Job Nimbus, oh, use all these little things, but yet the basis for why they need to use them is completely off. It's just sign contracts.
Yeah.
And the thing is then these companies wonder why they have all these jobs and they're not making that much money. And it's like, documentation is huge. We preach that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it's kind of like you tracking leads and all that stuff. It's not just like randomly throwing stuff up there. It's you are putting stuff out, but then you're finding out, okay, what's working, what isn't, and then using that across the board.
Yeah. How do you think companies should react to this? Just out of curiosity.
Well, I think they need to use technology, but they need to teach the basis, you know?
Yeah.
And
why they are using the applications and stuff. Because as you say, sometimes they doesn't know.
Start with the simple, start with the you know, the simple stuff, you know. Half the time these guys get called out because there's a leak and it's just like, oh, I'm getting a roof. Sometimes you need to just, you know, you can just put a pipe boot on it because it's ripped and it's $250 and it's a 5-minute job, right?
Yeah.
But they don't even know how to do that.
Yeah.
You know? So, and half the time you talk to the sales guys, they don't even know what the accessories are on a roof.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really tough. I never had thought about that side of it because a lot of many of the companies we work with, they do have some pretty in-depth training, but I do think the ones that are sort of, I don't know, like out for the buck, like it's for them, it's just volume, right? So if there's errors that are made or if there's things that are not necessarily captured, it sort of gets, you know, brushed under the rug and it's not a big deal because you have 5 other jobs that are maybe going to make up that revenue. So I definitely think it's a training issue there.
No, and that's understandable. But we used to, with KWL, we used to have me and Kyle knew everything. The sales guys didn't know everything, but we had a guy who would do most of the adjuster meetings and he'd scope the jobs and all that. We had him trained. But these companies, they don't put somebody in a place like that, most of them. They just want a huge sales force.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I mean, you call a sales guy and ask him about something, he does it. It's hilarious all the time. They, you know, so a lot of what we do is consulting with these companies to get their people trained so that they're getting good. I mean, I went and trained a couple guys in South Dakota for a potential client, and they had worked with like 2 other companies, both of these guys, and these guys knew nothing. Like they were good at selling, but you know, I'm showing them all these things that Kyle had taught me.
Yeah.
And you know, it was just, and I always taught my guys. Like I had one guy I literally sent out to a job site 5 times because he kept not getting the right pictures. And I had showed him on many times, and I'm just like, and I'm like, why don't you call me when you're at the job site? Company cam syncs up right away. You're not in the middle of nowhere where you have no cell service. You're in the metro area of Denver, right? All you literally have to do is say, "Hey, I'm here. Does this picture work?" I'm willing to help you, you know. And if I'm somewhere where I'm not at my computer, guess what? I got my phone. I got this right here. I can pull up company cam and I can look at it and say no. You know, one of them was like a decking picture, and I was like, you can't even read the tape measure for this plank decking. And so at one house I went to there and I was like, can you stick your finger in there and take that picture? So I go, if you could do that, that helps me out. But the tape measure is good. I'm like,
Right.
you know, the size of the planks, the size of the gaps.
Yeah.
You know, and just it, you know,
Oh.
he finally left because he just couldn't hang. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that guy was decent guy. But yeah, you see that stuff, and we're just like, you know,
Yeah.
hey, it's not for everybody. You know,
Yeah.
and the thing is the only reason that guy brought in jobs is because he knew a guy that was just feeding them leads. You
Wow.
know, and you know, it was 2000 when he started was 2016, and then it was 2017. So all the jobs we had done the year before and all these repairs, we did them. You know, we replaced all those roofs. So he brought in like 40 roofs without even trying.
Wow.
And just because it's, and that can be, it's a lot of
Yeah.
it is these sales guys. It's about connections. You
Yep.
could never have sold a roof in your life, and you know the right person, and they hook you up with everybody. You
Yeah.
know, so anybody watching, if you tell everybody what you're doing, don't be ashamed that you're selling
Yeah.
roofs. Don't be ashamed that whatever you're doing, you know, if you're making a commission off of it,
True.
tell everybody what you do.
Yeah.
You know, that, I mean, I'm sure I know Bill, he doesn't go around, what do you do? You know, oh, sit down. Let me tell you.
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah, whether it's a call, an email, a video call, I'm all in anytime I'm talking to anybody. And my level of passion shows, and I think it's, I think that's important. I really do. So
Nice.
Nice, Bill. And what do you do when you're not working?
So I've got a couple hobbies. I'm a sports card collector, and actually, speaking of company cam, Michael Gogan is as well. So he and I have chatted about sports cards a couple times. So sports cards. Love to go fishing. I'm in Texas, so it's a good. We get a lot of warm months. My son's big into basketball, so my 12-year-old is. I'm usually 3 to 4 times a week, if not more, bringing him to training, practice. So he's trying to get himself onto the 7th grade basketball team next year, which should be it's a goal for him, and I think he should be able to meet it. So spend time with my wife. We just enjoy each other's company immensely. So we'll do as much as we can together. So pretty low key, nothing crazy, right? I'm not skydiving or anything. I did for a long time do storm chasing, so I'll still storm chase every once in a while. I did it with Greg, my old business partner, and in fact, he still does it through F5 Tornado Safaris. That should be the website, actually. So he brings people out every year on a vacation. I stepped away from that a couple of years back, or more than that now. But yeah, it's so if there's a good tornado watch within an hour and a half, 2 hours a year, I might pop out and just do a little bit of storm chasing. So I've been doing that forever since I got to Kansas.
Nice.
Awesome. And it's dangerous, or?
It certainly can be. In fact, we did have some well-known chasers a couple of years back die in one of the storm chases. It was the El Reno, Oklahoma tornado, and Tim Samaras, his son, and another gentleman that they chased with got wrapped up in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that thing was a massive tornado. I mean, it was an F5 plus. I mean, it was a pretty amazing to see the video. My company, or prior company, F5 Tornado Safari, was on that same storm, and it was pretty close. Some of the video I saw, they were heading south away from it, and it was close to them, too close for comfort. So I usually try to position myself way far enough away that it doesn't become an issue. Although I've had to replace a couple windshields from hail, so
cost of doing business, I guess.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
All right.
I love it.
So, and then you were gonna show us some stuff. You got that ready?
Yeah. Let's pop on to the screen share. So, a couple things I wanted to talk about today. It pertained to Facebook advertising, and like I mentioned, we're a Facebook ads company, so we're running ads for clients. We are producing content for clients. So it's just a lot of really in-depth good stuff. Tilcor Roofing, if you haven't heard of them, they are a stone-coated steel manufacturer. Originally based out of New Zealand. In fact, I still think their core business is in New Zealand. Couple of years back, they opened up they started doing work in the US, and I connected with their VP of sales, and we started to hit it off and started doing some work with them. So for a couple of years now, we've been managing their account, and I'm in the admin side of things, which is why all this stuff is on the left-hand side. But we've been producing content for them. This is our content platform called Social Pilot. We've been producing content for them for many years now, and so there's really twofold to any type of Facebook, process, right? There's what we call organic content, right? So we produce content, it goes out, it reaches 284 people. We can see some likes, comments, shares. So you've got a good number of people, especially when you have an audience like Tilcor. Let me see how many. So they have 2,700 likes. Really, the follows is what you're worried about now. So 3,300 follows. So you can see roughly anywhere from 8 to 10% are seeing their posts when we produce them, right? But the real key to what happens on social, which is where a lot of companies don't put enough time, is the ad management. And it gets very complex. And I've been doing it for 8 years now. And I can tell you right now, I'm working with a company right now and trying to work with Facebook on their ads account. They're rejecting their ads for discriminatory purposes, and they're in the industry. And it is a big uphill battle. So let's take a look at ads. There's a really cool thing you can do if you ever want to spy on your competitors. Any page that you go to has on the left-hand side something that says page transparency. So when I click on page transparency, I can see information about the page, and I can also see that this company, Tilcor, is running ads. So if you're a roofing company, you can go out and look at all your competitors' ads if they're running ads. If you're a stone-coated steel manufacturer, like I think they compete with like Decra and a couple others, Decra could go out here and say, okay, what ads is Tilcor running? I love the new change to Meta now. I wonder if we're going to be going to meta.com in the future. We'll see. So this is an ad that we've been running for a really long time. And I actually may end up popping in and showing you some of the results from it. It's very simple. And I'm going to hit it for a second because it's probably going to be loud, but it's a 30-second ad just showing, actually I can turn off the volume. 30-second ad just showing the installation, right? It's a sponsored ad. You can see it actually was running a lot longer than this. We made some revisions in October of 2021. It's been running for probably 2 years now. So right now, that's the only ad we're running. So you can only see the ads that are running currently unless it's a political campaign. So if you ever wanted to go out, you can actually go to this ads library. There's the URL. I'm not going to do it right now because it's a nightmare, but you can go in and look at Donald Trump and see all the ads he's ever run everywhere. It's a weird rabbit hole to go down because once you get into it, you're like, what about this company? What about this politician? What about these people? You'll spend hours on here looking at ads. But it is
like gossip.
Yeah, so that's the ad that we're running right now, and again, it's reached. So I think we'll look at let's actually look at the stats. We're going to go into the ad account, and we're in my business manager now. So if we open Ads Manager now, you'll actually see that this ad has been active, and this is actually, I'm going to go to lifetime. So we're in the Ads Manager. You can see we've actually run many ads. We've actually reached 1 million people with this ad and have had 3,400,000 impressions, and we've produced 7,800 leads. So they're getting leads popped into their HubSpot constantly. We've got a couple others that we built. So Christine and I, let me look and see if I can find the campaign. I don't know if I can find it right now. Let's just look the last 30 days. Yeah, there's a lot of campaigns in here.
Facebook ads is they change stuff around and they don't tell you. They don't send like an email. Hey, by the way, you're spending money. We've changed the entire layout.
They don't. They don't. It is unbelievable. This stuff is changing constantly. We have an ads person that we work with directly at Facebook, so we have that connection there. But this is something that Christine and I produced. So what we ended up doing was we had that one massive ad that was running. Then we decided to get into it a little bit more closer and start targeting places where the reps work. So this ad only ran in Texas. So local Texas sales manager. So I won't play the video, but you can see that it immediately can resonate with the person in Texas. So we target contractors in Texas. When they see that ad, they immediately see Texas roofing contractors. The goal is to get them to stop scrolling. So if we can get them to stop scrolling, we can produce, in this case, let's see if we have maximum on here. So Ida's gotten 87 leads out of this since we started running it. We've reached 16,000 roofers and almost, and it's hard to see, actually I'll page over. So we've had 123,000 impressions. So it's probably about 7 to 8 impressions per roofer. It's off right now. We'll usually turn it on like once every 2 months just to sort of reinvigorate it. But these are the types of things that can be accomplished with Facebook. But going back to what you said, Jason, everything changes all the time. And if you don't have somebody in your office just going, I'm obsessed with this, I am going to figure it out and I'm going to make it happen, you're not going to be able to do it. I promise we struggle in our company making sure that we stay up to speed on everything that's happening within Facebook. And it's even a challenge for us. And I do it full time all day long. So it's a pretty good process. And like I said, you can go to Page Transparency. You can look up any of the ads. But you know, a combination of content, really good content going out, resonating organically with 400 people here, 400 people here, 200, and then running those ads to your targeted audience is what's going to get you success. For the residential roofer, there's a couple things you can do as well. I'll actually go to one of our clients out of Northwestern Indiana, Arnett Roofing and Construction. Obviously, it's cold up there right now, so they're not doing a ton of roofing. But if we go to Page Transparency here, you will see once I get to it. And again, we have the organic content going out. You will see we've got several different types of ads running right now. We've got inspection for attic insulation. A couple of them go into several different areas. We've got ice dams. So right now we have 5 different ads running to multiple different audiences for Arnett in his service area. And again, each one of those has its own objective, own process. And our goal is to create leads, get people to the website, get them into the ecosystem. And I want to touch on that a little bit further. Why do we have multiple ads running? What are those multiple ads doing? Why do we have multiple ads? Everything that you do on Facebook really, in my opinion, boils down to 2 different things. One is creative, right? You've got to have creative content, which is what we're showing right here. The other is the audiences, and I say with an S, there's multiple audiences that you need to be targeting on Facebook. And there's many, many different ways to have an ad show up to somebody and then show them multiple ads later on based on specific things that they're doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch a little bit on, we have a masterclass coming up, but I'm going to peel off a little piece of that and talk about Facebook audiences. So I'm in Business Manager right now. So if you do not have a Business Manager account, I highly recommend getting a Business Manager account. This is going to get you into the ecosystem. And if I click on all tools, you'll see that there's all kinds of stuff, right? This is the engine that drives everything that happens within Facebook ads, Facebook page management, and making sure that you're on top of everything that you need to be in order to run effective campaigns. So if I go to create audience, you see there's 4 different drop downs here. We'll look at custom and saved today, just for the sake of time. If I go on saved, I'm basically starting with a fresh audience. This is somebody that I may have never had any interaction with. So if I put in my zip code, Round Rock, Texas, you can see that my estimated audience size starts with the whole US, 226 million. If I pick my zip code, it drops it down to, that didn't work. Brought up some kind of location, not in, I may have selected the wrong one. Bear with me 1 second. We're going to go to saved. We're going to put in 78665 and postal code. Oh, I think I selected the next one down. So now you can see if I pick 78665, it tells me I can target between 56 and 66,000 people. So the population is about probably 90 to 100, maybe a little bit more. Right now, actually, that's all of Round Rock. So 78665 is 1 zip code. So I can target a zip code. And if I want to target homeowners, let's say I want to pop that up to like the average age, starting age of 32, I now drop that down to 37,000. There's, again, all kinds of different things you can do with this, right? This is a starting point to start creating what I would call a cold audience. If you've ever heard marketing, there's cold, warm, hot audiences. This would be a cold audience. Let's say this is Highway 79 in Round Rock, and let's say I know there was a hailstorm here in April of last year. Let's say I know the southern part was not hit by hail. The one big thing that Facebook does not allow you to do is just go in there and just draw a map. I don't know why they don't do that. It seems like the simplest.
So you spend more money, Bill.
Seriously. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and click exclude. Now, again, this goes back to how many bells and whistles are there, right? I failed to point out one thing. I want to do people living in this location. So let's look at what happens. 37 to 43. It now drops it to 29 to 35 because people are traveling, right? So again, if you're not looking at the 14 different things on here that you need to look at, you probably will miss one. And now all of a sudden you're targeting people that you shouldn't be. When I click on exclude, I can actually drop a pin, and I'm going to do it like right here. It's automatically going to blow it up to 10 miles, right? So boom, now all of a sudden Facebook by default does it to 10 miles. I'm going to zoom back in. I'm going to drop that to 1 mile. And you can see that I'm close, right? I can sort of toy around with it a little bit. But I'm now taking out that chunk. If I change this to 2 miles, it actually will probably hit it. Yeah, so there we go. I'm close enough, right? So I've now dropped my audience down by another 2,000 to 3,000, which is great because these people I don't want to target. So this is a great way to like just set up this core audience, this saved audience. And that's a piece of what we talk about. So I have a saved audience. I start running this kick-ass ad, right? We were looking at the Arnett, right? Let's say I was in Arnett and I was running it for ice dams, and we had a whole bunch of ice dams here. Now all of a sudden those people are going to get fed an ad. But what happens after they get fed an ad? Well, there's all kinds of different things you can do after that. One is if I have a link to my website, I can set up a custom audience for people that visited the website. If you have the new Meta Pixel, it used to be called the Facebook Pixel, but they've now told us, and apparently it's in here. If you have a Pixel installed on your website, that is a piece of code that tracks. It's almost like Google Analytics code, except it's Facebook code. You can retarget people that hit your website. If you have a customer list, you can upload that customer list and target your customer list. Really, really powerful, right? If you all of a sudden you decided I'm going to do a $99 a year roof inspection just to get on a bunch of roofs and help people out, you can upload your customer list and only run an ad to those people that match. They have to match. Name, email, phone number, city, state, zip. You will get you really, really close. And it's usually about an 80% match rate. Video. So if all of a sudden I did a 30-second video on Facebook showing what hail damage is like for a hailstorm that hit, blasted that out to my saved audience, and now all of a sudden I have the ability to track 10% view, 20% view, 100% view. If I hit 20,000 people with that ad and 4,000 of them view the video to 100%, I peel those people off and now I target them with an additional ad. How come you haven't scheduled your inspection? What is going on? So on and so forth. So boom, video. Instagram account. I can target people that are on Instagram. Lead form. So we'll actually look at here in a second once I close this out. You can actually target people that open the lead form. And this is a lead form that actually opens up on Facebook. So it's a Facebook generated lead form. You can target people that didn't complete the form, meaning they opened it and they were like, got distracted or decided they didn't want to do it and they closed it out. That's a trackable thing within Facebook.
Wow.
So quick question on the lead form. What about when people are just the one thing that I've seen every once in a while is their old information is popping into there.
Yep. So there is a new way to run lead forms called higher intent, and the higher intent lead form will not pre-fill. So they have to fill it out. So there is a way around that now. But I do agree, and we've run into that issue multiple times, especially with our clients that run leads. Like our net run leads, and I can tell you that we have access to his job Nimbus, so we can match up what's closing. And yeah, there's a bunch of junk that comes in, and it's unfortunate. It doesn't prevent somebody from filling out like my information on somebody's lead form, but but you know, things happen. So yeah, good question. And the higher intent lead, when you go set up the form, there's the higher intent lead is a way to sort of circumvent that. Couple other things, Instagram account. If you have an Instagram account, you can target people that just visited Instagram. Facebook page, this peels off your audience on Facebook just to target them. So if you think about it, if I ran a cold ad to an audience and I had people go to my website from a click, I now retarget them. I target people from my customer list. I target people that viewed my video. I target people that filled out my lead form. You could start seeing how if you don't know what you're doing, that could turn into some craziness. And if you're not using all these bells and whistles, you're missing out. So a couple like critical things there is you're like mapping out what you're going to do on Facebook. I mentioned so this is actually an example of Tilcor opened but did not submit. So in this case, people who opened but did not submit the form for Tilcor for our lead retargeting in the past 90 days, and it pops them into a new audience. So definitely some ways to like really get into this. And this is obviously, you can tell I'm passionate about it, right? Like I talk about this stuff all day long, and I do feel like the roofing community needs this knowledge, right? They need this understanding of how complicated it could be, because in most cases I get on the phone with somebody and they go, yeah, I keep hitting that boost post, right? And I boost my post and nothing happens. And I'm like, what do you want to happen, right? In this case, we have a call to action, which has a contact in it. But some people will just boost posts. Well, first off, they'll put the worst post out there, right? And then they boost post it thinking miracles are going to happen, but they don't have the right call to action. They're not using the right audiences. They're not doing what needs to be done. It's hard work. And if you don't learn it, you don't understand it, you don't put some weight behind it, it's not going to work for you. And that's what I hear all the time. And I do my best to try to bring people back in. If I'm doing a sales call, I'll often like dive this deep in, because if you don't really see and understand how complex it is, you can't put your weight behind understanding how much it costs to build and run these campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you don't want to just be flushing that money away.
No, I had a guy out in Colorado once, and this is like 3 or 4 years ago. He called me, and he was I could tell he was ADD, which I am too, right? He was all fired up, and he was like driving, and he's like, hey, I was referred to you, and I spent like $2,000 on a boost post, and I don't think Facebook ads work. what can you do for me? And I was like, I don't know if this is going to work out. Right? So I don't think we ended up working together, but like when somebody tells me they spend $2,000 to boost a post, like I get a like a knot in my stomach. It hurts me, right? Because you shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah. Well, exactly. It takes a little bit of work for the other stuff, but it has a lot better results. Even if you're getting, like we talked about, some bad leads, you're still getting good leads too. You're getting leads. It's not just with boosting, you have no idea what's going on with it. You know,
that's the real easy way that Facebook takes your money, right? Mm-hmm. Because I've even seen it, like if you manage a page and you're scrolling through your own Facebook, it'll show you your post and say, hey, Bill, you can boost this post to reach 3,000 people. And you get all excited, right? You're like, yeah, 3,000 people. And then it's like you hit boost and you don't look at the audiences, you don't look at anything. You just go $200 and hit boost. It's like, excellent. But no, not excellent.
Exactly. Well, any final notes?
No, the only thing, we've got a class going on. So I mentioned the roofing marketing masterclass. I know it's like 5 days away, but both Christine Mansour from CM Narrative and I are going to be going through that class. It's a digital marketing masterclass. It's on Eventbrite. And I think, Jason, you said you shared it out with the group as well, right?
Yeah, so I shared it on all of our platforms. And so the link's already there, so we don't have to do that.
Yeah, we've actually had several people sign up just in the past couple of days. So yeah, that's a great way to just get an intro into some of the stuff we talked about today. We'll dive in a little bit deeper into some of the things that we talked about. But yeah, I'm just, from my perspective, my passion is just helping people. And if I can help 10 roofers not spend $500 on boost posts this year, I'll save them $5,000. So, and then hopefully pick up a new friend and maybe a new client. But I'm just hoping to help as many people as I can in 2022, because the complexity behind ads gets deeper and deeper, and we're here to help.
Nice. So if you want to get a hold of Bill, he's available via text or call at 512-497-5557. And his email is bill@notimeforsocial.com. If you are looking to get any help with consulting on your claims or supplements or estimates, you can give me a call at 720-702-1938. And my email is jason@furtadolaw.solutions. So we really appreciate your time, Bill. And
yeah, pleasure.
Hopefully we'll have you on again in the future. Let us know. Let me know when there's some more everything's breaking apart on Facebook and people need refresher courses.
It keeps me up at night. It really does. But yeah, I really appreciate it. Definitely grateful to be on today, and thank you for reaching out and inviting me.
Yeah.